Here with Brianna. She is a student here at D'Youville University. Brianna.
Hi, my name is Brianna Jurla. I'm in my third year at D'Youville University. I'm studying pharmacy, and as a commuter, I pass through exit 9 Porter Avenue onto Porter Avenue, and I see a lot of homelessness down the street, and I was wondering, for all of you candidates, what is your concrete promise to help out our least fortunate Buffalonians?
Mr. White, to you, sir.
Thank you for that question. I totally agree. Again, our mismanagement of our funds hurts the least of us in our community. I know that there were proposals years ago by, I believe, Council President Pritchard that talked about tiny houses for those people, a pilot program. It just seems like so many times we just push the homeless away. We put up barriers so that they can't go to those safe havens, even if it's underneath a barrier, a overpass. We close that down. We don't give them other alternatives. So I will be looking at how do we address that, working with organizations that are addressing homelessness, because a lot of times those groups are less funded. They're not given the dollars that they need to really help impact homelessness, because part of that homeless issue is probably mental illness too. So it has to be a whole package deal. It just can't be, let's put someone in a home. It's got to be looking at the issues that they're dealing with and how do we help them with that issue. We have a gentleman that's walking Main Street all the time that's homeless, that is bothering people that we put in and out of jail. That's not the answer. And so we will take a concrete effort working with Erie County, because they deal with some of these things. If we really care about the least of these in our community, we'll make a concerted effort to look at ways to help them and not just put them in jail or isolate them and keep them homeless. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Scanlon.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. You know, obviously when we talk about homelessness, that's not the symptom, right? It's typically the byproduct. And whether it's mental health issues or substance abuse or where those two intersect and the things that it leads to, that's what needs to be addressed, the symptoms. So in my time in office, I've been doing that, working with places like mental health advocates and others to try and address mental health issues throughout our community, with our citizens, with our employees, whatever it might be. And we launched recently a program, a partnership between the City of Buffalo, Erie County Medical Center, the Erie County Sheriff's Office, the Buffalo Police Department, Buffalo Fire Department, called the Crisis to Care. And it's a call and respond model that's a little bit different to make sure that we're increasing the number of beds available to people, the services available to people. I can tell you that I've lost a number of people in my life to mental health issues, and it's something that's very important to me, something that I've worked on my entire time in office and will continue to do so. And I think that this Crisis to Care model is going to really impact that. What we don't want to see is homelessness being criminalized. And I think far too often in the past, with the responders, the police coming out by themselves and just handling that, it's led to that. People being hauled in and taken to either the holding center or wherever else it might be. But now through the communication of these different partners, again, Erie County, the City of Buffalo, and a vast number of mental health professionals and organizations, we'll hopefully see a change in that in the near future.
Thank you, Mr. Scanlon. Mr. Ryan.
To quote my colleague, Mr. Thompson, I'm not seeing a needle moved on this at all. I walk around downtown Buffalo. I see unhoused people. I see people suffering from mental illness, and we have to do something about that. Last year, I was able to receive funding from New York State to put locally to do a community response team, to put them together to work with the unhoused, mentally ill people to make sure that we have that connectivity. During COVID, a lot of people, they lost the connection between their mental health provider and medications. So we have to work with the community response teams to make sure we get people linked back into the mental health field. But at the bottom of this program, it's complex. At the bottom of this problem, housing has got to be a big component of it. You know, for a generation, Buffalo's only housing plan was to demolish houses. Now we've demolished so many houses that there's a housing shortage. We don't have apartments for people to go into. We have people living in hotels in Hamburg, Buffalo families, because they can't find a house in Buffalo. So we really took out so much of the housing market by our sort of non-stop demolition program. And that's my program to bring 4,000 rental units back online. It's going to take the pressure off the housing market, and it'll give everyone a place to live in Buffalo, regardless of their income level.
Thank you. Mr. Whitfield?
Yeah, listen, I agree with much that has been said on this topic by the candidates up here. This is an issue that is going to require all of us to work together. This is not, one thing over here or one thing over there. We have to address all of these things holistically. We have to do it in such a way that's empathetic and that's caring for all of us. There's a lot of people that don't have a place to live because they don't have a job. Not because of mental health. They can't afford the rents in Buffalo anymore, and they are cohabitating with their parents or others, with other family members, all over the city of Buffalo. So this is an issue that's much bigger than just mental health, than just a housing shortage. It's something that we all need to get together and work on together and make sure that people have a roof over their head, make sure that we connect them with the services that they need. It's something that I did as Commissioner of Fire. We worked with other agencies and tried to make sure that we would connect people with the services that they needed. We have to use the people that we have in these positions because they touch our communities first. They touch our residents first. They see things and they can report those up and they can help intervene. The community response teams, as was said, is another way to do that. Trusted people within the community, but they have to be integrated into our response system in such a way as they're respected by the responders also.
Mr. Whitfield, thank you very much. Mr. Tyson Thompson, you have the final word of tonight's town hall.
All right. Thank you so much for the question. It's a really good one. By and large, I'll say that most residents in the city of Buffalo is about a paycheck or two away from being homeless themselves. There are so many people who are struggling because of part of the system. As mayor, I attend on making sure that every community member in the city of Buffalo has access to resources needed to have a thriving life, a place to call home. There are so many things that goes into being a homeless person. I mean, if I didn't have, 5 brothers and 2 sisters and a mom who were still living, then I might be homeless myself. The economy is really, really bad right now. Even with all of these degrees, I could possibly be struggling to find a job. Mental health is a real thing. So when you're addressing homelessness, you're really addressing a lot of socioeconomic issues at one time. And the important thing is that you can't be an expert for everything as the mayor. You have to collaborate, be inclusive in your process. Speak to all of your electeds at the city, county, state, and federal government to make sure that we have all the resources needed in this city to build a thriving community of people. And as mayor, that's what I will fight for day one. Is leading with empathy and compassion and turning compassion into action. Thank you.